The night was filled with stars, not just in the sky, but across the red carpet of the 2025 Weibo Awards. Cameras flashed, reporters shouted, and fans screamed the names of their favorite celebrities. But in the middle of that glittering chaos stood one woman whose light outshone them all, Tan Songyun. She walked with quiet grace, her warm smile radiating through the crowd, as though she carried both strength and softness in equal measure. And somewhere in that sea of applause, Sukai was watching. When Tan Songyun's name was called for one of the night's highest honors, Best Actress of the Year, the hall erupted in cheers. It was a victory that was long overdue. Years of dedication, heartbreak, and silent perseverance had led to this one defining moment. But as everyone cheered, the camera panned to Sukai, and in that instant, something happened. He was in tears. Fans noticed it immediately. He tried to hide it, lowering his head, smiling through the emotion. But that raw, genuine moment didn't go unnoticed. Within hours, social media was filled with clips captioned, "Sukai cries for Tan Songyun," and pride in his eyes, love in his heart. But the truth behind that tearful smile was far deeper than anyone imagined. Months before the Weibo Awards, Tan Songyun had faced one of the hardest challenges of her career. Behind the polished image, she was struggling silently. Rumors swirled that a project she had poured her heart into was suddenly canceled due to industry politics. She was devastated. For weeks, she went quiet, no public posts, no appearances, no statements. Fans grew worried, and it was during that dark silence that Sukai showed up. Not as a co-star, not as a fellow celebrity, but as a friend who refused to let her fade. According to a close source, Sukai had been one of the few people who checked on her constantly. He sent food to her home when she refused to go out. He made her laugh during video calls. He even told her, "The world hasn't forgotten you. You just need to step back before stepping forward again." Those words stayed with her. So when she stood on that stage, holding that golden trophy, tears filling her eyes, she wasn't just thanking the audience, she was silently thanking the man who stood up for her when no one else did. After the ceremony, Sukai and Tan Songyun were seen briefly together backstage. The cameras didn't capture what they said, but witnesses described the moment as emotional but quiet. Sukai reportedly hugged her, whispered something that made her laugh, and told her, "You earned this. Never doubt it again." But even that wasn't the full story. Months later, behind the scenes of a new drama casting, reports surfaced that Tan Songyun was being considered for a lead role, opposite Sukai. Fans went wild at the possibility of the two reuniting on-screen after years apart. Their chemistry from their previous drama still lingered in the hearts of millions, and now, destiny seemed to be aligning again. However, there was hesitation. Insiders revealed that Tan Songyun wasn't sure she wanted to step into another spotlight so soon. The pressure, the attention, and the emotional toll of her recent award had left her unsure. Sukai, however, was the one who encouraged her to say yes. In an interview just weeks before the drama's official announcement, Sukai said something that melted everyone's hearts. "Sometimes, the people who inspire us most are not the ones who shout the loudest, but the ones who quietly hold on, even when the world stops watching." Fans knew exactly who he was talking about. And then came the revelation that shocked the entire industry. During an overseas fan meet, Tan Songyun was asked about Sukai's emotional reaction at the awards. She smiled shyly and said, "He has always been proud of me, even when I wasn't proud of myself. That kind of support, it's rare." Her voice trembled slightly as she continued, "When I saw his tears, I realized that sometimes people cry not because they're sad, but because they've seen you rise again after you've fallen." The audience erupted in applause. It was a subtle confession, one that said more than words ever could. After that, their dynamic seemed to change in small but noticeable ways. Fans noticed they often posted around the same time, using similar captions. When Sukai shared a cryptic post that read, "Some bonds are built through storms," Tan Songyun responded just hours later with a photo captioned, "And those bonds never break." It was no longer just about friendship or professional respect. It was something deeper, something real. But with every emotional truth comes scrutiny. Media outlets began speculating whether the two were quietly dating. Both of their agencies denied it, of course, but fans weren't convinced. The way they looked at each other in interviews, the comfort in their laughter, and the tenderness in their gestures spoke volumes. Behind the curtains of fame, the truth was simple. Soo Kai and Tan Songyun had found something rare, a bond rooted in respect, trust, and quiet love. As months passed, Tan Songyun continued to shine, taking on new projects and becoming one of the most respected actresses in China. Soo Kai, too, grew both as an actor and as a person, often crediting his growth to people who believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. Their paths might lead them to different places, but fans know one thing. The tears Soo Kai shed that night wasn't just pride. It was love. The kind that doesn't fade when the lights go out, but grows stronger in the silence that follows. And maybe that's why their story continues to inspire millions. It reminds us that behind every public victory, there are private battles, and behind every tear, there's a truth waiting to be told. Months after the 2025 Weibo Awards, life seemed to return to normal for Soo Kai and Tan Songyun, at least on the surface. But for those who followed them closely, something had changed. Their connection, once defined by subtle support and quiet admiration, was now the subject of endless whispers. Every glance, every post, every interview was studied like a secret code between two hearts still afraid to speak their truth aloud. After the awards, Soo Kai began to retreat from the spotlight. He wasn't attending as many events, and his social media presence became quieter. Fans speculated that he was taking a break, perhaps to focus on himself. But insiders later revealed that Soo Kai had been spending more time behind the camera, helping develop scripts, one of which he reportedly co-wrote with someone he deeply trusted, Tan Songyun. It was said to be a healing story about loss, love, and finding light again. People close to the project described it as their story, told through fiction. Meanwhile, Tan Songyun was busier than ever. After her Weibo win, she became one of the most sought-after actresses in the industry. But behind her bright smile, she carried the weight of expectations and the loneliness that came with success. There were nights, she admitted in interviews, where she'd come home from filming, turn off all the lights, and just sit in silence, replaying that night when Soo Kai's tears fell for her. Those memories became her strength, but also her soft spot. Then came an unexpected turn. A leaked behind-the-scenes clip from an upcoming fashion shoot showed Soo Kai walking onto the set, surprising Tan Songyun. The two hugged instantly, the kind of embrace that said 1,000 words. Fans who saw the clip described the atmosphere as overwhelmingly emotional. Some said Tan Songyun teared up. Others noticed Soo Kai whispering something to her that made her smile through her tears. The clip went viral within hours. Comments flooded social media. After all this time, they still look at each other the same way. Soo Kai's eyes never lie. He's still in love. Maybe this is their quiet way of saying they found each other again. Neither of them addressed the clip publicly, but just days later, Soo Kai made a rare post. It was a simple black and white photo of two hands, one holding the other tightly. The caption read, "No matter what happens, some people will always be your home." Tan Songyun responded hours later with a photo of the night sky. Her caption, "And some stars never fade." The internet erupted. Fans began calling them the eternal duo, saying their bond transcended any label. But while the public was captivated by their chemistry, those close to them saw something deeper, a connection built not on romance alone, but on resilience. Privately, Soo Kai had been battling something few knew about. He'd faced creative burnout after years of constant filming and criticism. During those months of silence, Tan Songyun was the one who encouraged him to rediscover his purpose. She reminded him that he didn't need to prove himself. He just needed to create with honesty. It was her faith that pushed him back into the world, and his gratitude that made him emotional every time he spoke of her. When asked in a recent interview about the woman who had the most impact on his life, Soo Kai paused for a long time before saying softly, "There's someone who taught me that being strong doesn't mean not feeling pain. It means standing even when you've cried." He didn't say her name, but everyone knew. As for Tan Songyun, she too couldn't hide the warmth in her voice when asked about Soo Kai. She said, "He's one of those people you meet once and never forget. Because when the world goes quiet, his sincerity speaks louder than anything else." And just when fans thought their story had found its peaceful ending, a new surprise hit the entertainment world. Soo Kai and Tan Songyun were officially confirmed to star together again, in a film titled The Moment We Believed. The announcement broke the internet. Within hours, hashtags like hashtag Sukai Tan Songyun reunion and hashtag The Moment We Believe trended across China and beyond. According to early reports, the film tells the story of two people who lose each other at the peak of their careers, only to meet again years later when life has changed them both. It's a story of rediscovery, forgiveness, and second chances. But for those who have followed Sukai and Tan Songyun's real-life journey, it feels like something more, a reflection of their own unspoken truth. During the press conference, the chemistry between them was undeniable. Sukai often looked at her before answering questions, as if seeking reassurance. Tan Songyun, ever composed, smiled warmly, her eyes soft whenever he spoke. At one point, a reporter asked what it felt like to reunite after so many years. Sukai smiled and said, "Some stories never really end. They just wait for the right time to continue." Tan Songyun added, "And when the time comes, you realize the connection was never lost. It was just waiting for both people to be ready." The crowd erupted in applause. The two exchanged a glance that said everything words couldn't. As filming began, fans flooded social media with messages of love and excitement. "They've come full circle," one fan wrote. "From tears to triumph, their journey is the most beautiful drama we've ever seen." And perhaps that's true. Because sometimes the most powerful stories aren't written in scripts or captured by cameras. They're written in the quiet moments, in the way someone looks at you when the world isn't watching. Sukai and Tan Songyun's journey from heartbreak to healing, from silence to connection, reminds us that love, whether spoken or not, always finds its way back home. And as fans eagerly await their film's release, one thing remains certain. The tears of victory that once fell on that Weibo stage have now turned into something deeper, the promise of forever, told in the language of second chances.